All right, good morning, Cyber Traders. Welcome on back to a brand new week here this Monday, February 13th, shortly after 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Welcome on back, folks, to our morning meeting. Of course, you could tell this is not Fausto Pugliese. I'm tagging in for Fausto once again. For anyone new, of course, my name is Josh Levitan, but I feel most of us are familiar at this point. Great to see all of us alike, though, inside our live trading room. We have Brad, Michael, Mario, we have Ray, we have Chuck, we have Steve, Mark, Andrea, Lawrence. Where are the ladies at the trading room at? Great to see Phil, but Leda, Kathleen, Wendy, Ravina, and all of us otherwise. Great to see at least all of us here inside the live trading room. Great to have all of us back on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube. How did everybody enjoy the Super Bowl yesterday? I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have a horse in the race just as a Giants fan, but and of course Fausto, I'm sure would say the same as a Jets fan. But it was a phenomenal Super Bowl altogether. Great halftime performance. I'm a Rihanna stan, so I thought she killed it. Andrea said, good game. Mike said he liked it. Yeah, not bad. And congratulations to the Chiefs. Maybe a little suspect ending with the flag there, perhaps, but nevertheless, great players, great teams. I hope everybody enjoyed. I hope everybody's looking forward to a brand new week here. So, without further ado, there's a little housekeeping, at least to begin with, folks. Just actually right out the gate, Fausto having some computer monitor issues. Hopefully, he'll be good to go for the market open. But if not, you'll get me, myself at least for the open for all of us inside the trading room. But he should be good to go later on, if anything. Now, with that, though, we have the Phase 1 stock course beginning today for the month of February. So we'll be continuing our curriculum here in February by beginning our discussion about charts, charting principles, core charting principles, basic support resistance. And then from there, we'll dig further into different charting patterns. We'll dig further into journaling. We'll dig further in Phase 2 in terms of live market scenarios. Actually, with that in mind, Phase 2 normally would be the following week. But we have our on-site, our Trader Summit next week. So we actually are doing Phase 2 this week as well, just on the latter portion of this week on Thursday, Friday. So Phase 1, today and Wednesday this week. Today and Wednesday for any of our bronze students and above, you folks have access, including our Cyber Group Plus members like Brad. But with that in mind, though, just again, Phase 1 and 2 today, or Phases 1 and 2 this week. We have our on-site class coming up next week, so I'm really looking forward to meeting all of our students there, like Edwin and Warren, and obviously Alex. I've met him a couple of times, and a couple more here, like Mark. I look forward to meeting Mark and James and Victor and Kane, and a lot more folks just joining us in Florida, in Jacksonville, coming up on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. Actually, as I'm saying that, little housekeeping on top for all of us. Next Monday, markets are going to be closed. How about that? That's why we did the on-site for Monday of next week, kind of our soiree welcoming party, at least there. So Monday on the 20th, next week for all of us. Doesn't matter if you're trading, regardless, Monday, markets are closed for President's Day, Washington's birthday. So just wanted to let you folks know with that too. For any of our new trial members joining us here inside our live trading room, welcome aboard. Now, keep in mind, just for the classes I had referenced, you don't have access to that just yet. But here in our trading room, we would want you to, just kind of observe and sit back, kind of watch the chat board there, and of course how we operate just throughout the day, myself and Fausto when he's here. But what you do have access to as a trial member is our live workshop tomorrow. That's Traders Talk. So that's every Tuesday, of course, here inside our live trading room. For any trial members joining us here as you go throughout this day today, if you have any questions, feel free to email me, josh@ctutrading.com. That's my email address. Again, that workshop will be tomorrow right inside our live trading room. So, definitely stick with us at least going into tomorrow. Now, let's hop right into it here, because this morning, this stock HYPR is basically making the same type of move as, well, every other stock that's been moving so far this morning. It has been a dud of a morning so far, unless if you were able to capture the comms trade pretty quickly after 8 o'clock. That led to a nice pop after 8, but again, the same thing. Steam ran out on this trade pretty early on, ended up failing to hold support, and came crashing down towards 520. Ended up holding support there, but you wanted a higher low. You wanted to see better trend at that point. So, really, that's kind of been the whole pre-market this morning. The HYPR, just the last one, we'd called it out right before this morning meeting started, and now look at it. You could take a look at TOPS, TOPS, ended up popping at first, We'd called it out after 8 o'clock, so it wasn't on our main list then, obviously, but dumped off. So we took our eyes actually off it pretty quickly, and thankfully it popped back up. If this ends up breaking a higher high later on, that would be great. I don't mind at least adding this to our main list just to begin this tops trade. But that's where you got to be careful. Normally on Mondays, there's not as much news that comes out company-wise or in terms of like publicly traded companies, earnings, and all that. And then also, hey, I mentioned it earlier inside our live trading room for Wendy and Brad and all of us here live, Chuck included, etc. What's coming out tomorrow, folks? Anything big coming out tomorrow? Anyone on YouTube right now know what's coming out tomorrow? The CPI report, right? Inflation numbers. So there could be a lot of hesitation in lieu of that coming out tomorrow morning. I think that's coming out, at like 8:30 in the morning tomorrow? Usually does at like 8:30 Eastern time. So with saying that, there could be a little hesitation, slowness throughout the market today. Just be careful in that regard. Again, tops, at least for right now, showing a little more strength here. So I'll put this on our morning list at least to begin. Hopefully this ends up making a better pop. So let's bring up level 4 out right now on this trade just to see what it looks like for the tops. All right, gotta finagle something here briefly. There we go. So there's a couple of orders out there, mainly at 165. It's been out there really since 8 o'clock or shortly after 8, then 175. It's not as if it's every 10 cents, mind you, but I would say 65 and 75 definitively as big iceberg levels on this tops trade going into the open. All right, so we got one at least, right? One stock that does look pretty good right now. Hopefully it doesn't dump back down here before the open. But let's go right from top to bottom here. Otherwise, though, for any of the movers that we end up getting from Friday, the end of last week, we'll go over them if they're still looking pretty good. But I'd rather just build up our watch list here for the open. So we got the VLON stock, not Elon, but VLON. Ended up making a nice pop shortly after 8:30. I mean, beforehand too, but really exploded after 8:30, breaking higher off of 72, 73 cents. You can see actually that was holding pretty well just early in the pre-market, like 4 a.m. when it opened up. So normally a cheap stock like this below $1, we're not as accustomed, to put on our main list. But when it's moving as well as it is here, regardless of how much it's up percentage-wise, like top percent gainer, whatever, it's trending up so nicely here. I want to give it a look. So yeah, I mean, definitely looks interesting going into the open. VLON ended up popping actually even from Friday after hours. And while I'm at it, I'll just check news here actually briefly on this trade. I mean, you'd figure there'd be news out on this stock, right? You'd figure. I don't have a headline. I don't have a single headline out on the stock. Maybe it's just a short squeeze. Maybe day traders just pumping it up. Whatever it may be here, I don't have a single headline, at least even from Friday last week. So, it can still push, and I'll look to trade it if it sets itself up pretty nicely off of resistance. But if there's no news out on it, that's where you got to say be careful if the foot's taken off the gas pedal on this trade. I mean, news came out on this stock and the foot was taken off the gas pedal on this. So, this I ended up losing a little money on at first this morning. Ended up going break even off of 208. I was looking for the higher low off the big CVP level and just didn't give it to me. So I got out break even, felt good about it. But as it came down, it ended up dropping down to 2. I got in at 199. I was looking for the pop blast up over 2 for the run up higher. Obviously didn't get it, so I ended up getting out at 194. It was before the meeting started here, before the open, obviously. So, just goes to say, I mean, the stock was actually looking pretty interesting prior to the 8 a.m. move with news out on it, and look what happened. So you don't want to get stuck hoping and holding. I'd rather take a dinky loss and, get back in on the trade if it can afford me the chance to, or hell, just go on to another stock. So, hey, CLNN for right now, I'll keep on our list for right now, just for anyone interested. The news out on this stock, they reported new data from the Visionary MS Phase 2 study, multiple sclerosis at that point, demonstrating positive treatment, blah, blah, blah. All right, so, yeah, I mean, good headline. Hopefully it leads to a nicer pop after the open. I'd still expect 208, 210 to be a point of resistance there too, as it was early from pre-market. So don't be surprised even if it blasts above $2 here coming up for like 208, 210 for that to be strong. All right, nice bounce on comms right now, so that's pretty healthy. I like to see that at least. Let me just check the news out on this comms trade while I'm at it. All right, so comms trading higher after the company announced an 80% year-over-year reduction of outstanding secured debt. All right, sounds like a good headline there. Led to a pop initially. It's not like the greatest news out there. I'd be more interested in that CLNN news, if anything. From what we saw at the end of last week with a couple of those pharma stocks like KPRX. But it dumped off after. I wasn't too surprised with that. Seeing this pop back up gives me hope to see a higher high. It doesn't lead me to guarantee a higher high. But, for right now, I would expect 570, 575 to be strong. It was early in pre-market. And then from there, 6 is your bigger level. So, yeah, comms I'll put back on our list as well. All right, this DLL, I was actually pretty reluctant with putting this on our main list, and it was holding pretty strong going into 8 o'clock. It looked like kind of lackluster. It's not to say it was trading low volume, but it needed a little kick after 8, and it never really had it. It's trending up, even higher now as I'm talking. A couple prints coming in at 565, 566. I wouldn't mind putting it on our list for the open, but you could tell there's definitely faster moving trades, more bang for your buck. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. Just kind of skimming down the gainers side here. FSLY. Again, for anyone joining us right now, Fausto ran into a small computer monitor issue, so hopefully he'll be good to go for the market open. I know he's working with one of our IT guys on it right now. All right, BIDU, pretty flat after the gap up. Is this a Chinese stock? I feel like it is, just with the gap. All these Chinese stocks tend to have some bigger gaps overnight, like a JD, a NEO, whatever it may be. They tend to find more gaps in them. Wouldn't shock me. Either way, that's a pretty expensive trade either way, the BIDU, so we'll move on from that. All right, we'll hop over to the loser side right now. We'll see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. It's ASAN beforehand, not much doing there. All right, what the hell happened here? FREQ. I didn't even see this. On our pre-market watch list this morning, I ended up putting the GTHX stock on there, down over 50%. It was holding resistance well off 350, so there was a chance to see another short on that as it broke lower, but we'll get to that in a moment. This thing got killed. FREQ down from like 375, get down, then ended up really just trending off. So I mean, this could be easy to say, but unless if Fausto or myself specify otherwise, there's a difference between a day trade and a swing trade, a day trade and an overnighter, right? So obviously, we weren't really focused on this trade as much from last week, even maybe like one little pop the week before from January, but just with the big gap down, I mean, unless if we tell you otherwise, we're not trying to hold overnight. I mean, hell, especially into the weekend. So FREQ study, whatever the study it is, failed to meet primary endpoint, showing no significant separation in speech perception between drug and placebo, so led to a big drop early. Hey, it's down enough to where we could look for a potential squeeze, a potential dead cat bounce. So, I mean, hell, down 81+%. Now, don't hold yourself to that bounce, though, right? As much as I'm going to put this on our list, and hey, I'm going to look for a bounce on this. I'm telling you. But if we don't get a bounce, don't get stuck hoping and holding. Look at our friend ARDX here, right? The stock 2 years ago ended up gapping down like 88%. It was one of the biggest drops I've seen. And, at that point, I wasn't hoping and holding, but this is just a prime example of why you should not. It took a damn long amount of time before this ended up even starting to make a squeeze back up. And, I've been filling gaps slowly, but, just to say on the FREQ, there's a reason why it's down this much. So if we don't get that illustrious bounce at some point after the open, don't get stuck hoping and holding. And actually, the ARDX was down like 88% that day, so a little bit more than this even. All right, GTHX. So this one, the resistance was off of 350 at first, and then broke above it. This is where you could look for a potential dead cat bounce because it broke through the level on the way up, but it didn't give you what you wanted. that issue right now myself in a second. Test 1 2 1 2 should be good to go for all of us in social media right now, and then for all of us inside the live trading room, just bear with me 1 second. All right, test 1 2 1 2. Could everybody hear me at least inside the trading room right now? I should be good to go coming up, right? Sweet. All right, not a bad tech issue right there. How about that? I kind of just made my morning, I feel like. Now, I just got to make sure I'm good to go here. GTHX, it looks like I'm getting data on my TradeStation platform. So that's like the biggest thing I'm kind of concerned about. And we're good. All right, sweet. All right, nice. So let me get back to my spot here on GTHX. My apologies on that, folks. But nevertheless, GTHX down enough where you could look for a dead cat bounce. But hey, just like the other one, if it doesn't give it to you, then it's going to be tough to expect it, right? Give me a quick sec, actually, inside the trading room. I'm not sure if I can get my screen sharing. Looks like it's not sharing there. But for right now on social media, you should be able to see the GTHX screen. And with that, we're going to put that on our list here too. Oh, you know what? I might need to like dip out of the room on my other screen and back in. All right, I'll get the screen up for Kathleen and Steve and all of us inside the cyber group room in just a sec. I know you could hear. There we go. All right, perfect. All right, so GTHX on our list. Now, at this point, let's see what else we got. FIS. Let me expand the price column here, if anything. Fidelity. I don't know if this is like Fidelity, whatever, but Fidelity National Information. Down big so far this morning, near 15%. It is trending down nice, but there could be more liquid shorts to work with, better shorts in terms of finding iceberg orders out there. If you want to put it on your personal watch list and you're pretty good as a consistently profitable trader, you know what to watch for in terms of a short setup, and you're familiar with trading thinly traded stocks, then that's one thing. But I like what we got on our list here so far. All right, and I'll tell you, I don't think we really missed too much in terms of the tech issue we had, let alone anything else on the gainers and losers side here. So, it kind of boils back down to what we had said earlier this morning. There wasn't a whole lot that the market offered us early in pre-market, so we're not going to force anything out there. Michael's saying Z might be worth watching this morning, earnings this week. The word might is the key word there. So there's going to be a lot of stocks that might be worth watching, right? Got to boil it down to a smaller list. Top's already on our list, topping our list, if anything, pun intended, but, pretty liquid and trending up now even higher. So, yeah, looking pretty strong, at least for now, tops. We don't need to build out too big of a watch list here at this point. All right, I'm checking Benzinga Pro right now, folks. Current time 9:20. My apologies again for the small tech issue I had just beforehand, but we are good to go now. If you want to know you want to know the truth, you guys want to know the truth? What happened right there? I'll peel back the curtain, full transparency. I always am, but like legit. I knocked over my router just before. I knocked over my router on my chair here in my home office. I kicked it. I'm like, oh no. And I said that mentally, but I knew what was likely to come next. I saw a little pop up. I'm like, hopefully we'll be good. And we are good to go. So that was the truth behind that. I'm going to make sure I don't kick over this damn router any longer. I was doing a little home repair in my home office just over the weekend. All right, folks, we're going to wrap up for right now. Fausto should be back tomorrow. He should be back even inside our live trading room coming up after the open. But otherwise, though, for all of us inside our social streams right now, YouTube, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, if you have any questions, feel more than free to shoot me a quick email. josh@c2trading.com is my email. If you have any questions before joining our live trading room, do that. But otherwise, go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up on a week-long trial to our live trading room. We do live audio commentary from 9:30 to 10:30 coming up weekdays, as well as from 3 to 4 p.m. each weekday as well. And again, tomorrow, at least for all of our trial members and members alike there, we'll be doing our live Traders Talk workshop. All right, so for all of our students there, I look forward to it. And again, no tech issues, at least going into the open. Let's pray. All right, folks, I'll talk to you coming up. Take care.